Well, Moir is the chief executive of Woolworths, and he's been spending quite a bit of time in Australia. They want to acquire Australia's second largest department store chain called David Jones. The price tag is 20.5 billion rand. Joining us on his return to South Africa is the CEO of Woolworths, Moir. Well, you've been over there for quite a while this time around, and I suppose a visit to dot the I's and cross the T's on your offer, but you're no stranger to Australia.
No, Alec, not at all. I mean, I've been involved in the Australian market for nearly 20 years now. I ran Country Road before I came over to run Woolies. So it's a market we know well, and in a business that a sector that we know well, and one that we've performed well in, and certainly our Country Road business is performing exceptionally well now and well above market, and already sits at about 17% of our profit. So it's not new to us at all.
Country Road did have its ups and downs, though, even during the time that you were running it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It had a lot of ups and downs, but it's been all one way for the past nearly 8 years now, Alec. And it was a business that had a lot wrong with it, needed a lot of fixing. We went in, and quite frankly, that was a business that was close to bankruptcy. So turning that around, getting all of the right processes and systems and structures in place. But we've managed to increase the turnover 3 times. We're employing 5 times as many people. We've taken it from unprofitable to what we're now projecting to be a 12% return. So we've got, and it's now close to $800 million turnover. So it's a very significant business for us, and a very successful business, and consistently performing now.
You do see a lot of Country Roads when you go around Australia, but other South African related companies seem to have struggled. Ian, as you say, you've had a 20-year or 2-decade relationship with the country. You would have seen the South Africans come and go. What is it that they've been doing wrong?
Well, look, I think it depends. Some have been successful and some haven't. There's obviously Visi and his group are invested in Australia at the moment and doing well. There will be others that I'm sure that will come in. Some will be successful and some won't. I think the difference is between our group and other groups is that we know the market well. We're engaged. We've integrated the groups. It takes a long time to make sure that there's proper integration between the groups, and it's also you need to be buying into a business that has the same culture, has the same values, operates at the same level of the market, and so you're not trying to adopt a completely different business with a different approach, with a different customer set, and particularly values. I think they're very important.
We had David Shapiro in studio on the day that your announcement was made, and he was concerned for 2 reasons, and I'd like you to address them. The first, he said, was you more like a Marks and Spencer from a global perspective, that's Woolworths in South Africa, whereas David Jones, which you are targeting to acquire, is more like a Selfridges. And he said in the second point, he senses much antagonism towards South Africans and South African-owned businesses in Australia. Starting with the first of those, do you think it's fair comment?
Comparing us to M&S, I think might have been valid 10 years ago. I don't think it is now. If you look what we've done with the business, Alec, we've really turned our clothing business around. We're getting good growth. We're taking market share. It's very modern, stylish business with a great set of sub-brands within it, from Witchery, Country Road, Trenery, Studio, JT1, Reed. They're all great brands. And it's those brands that we'll be taking into David Jones. And those brands will be as successful in Australia as they are in South Africa, and quite frankly, as we've seen with the Country Road brands, vice versa. So I don't think that's particularly valid. And if you look at the way we're able to grow our food business, our Africa business, and our Australia business quite independently. We get benefit from having them conjoined in South Africa, but that doesn't mean to say you need them conjoined in Australia.
Ian, what about the second point, that Australians are antagonistic towards South Africans and South African-owned businesses?
I don't think that's true. I think there's an intense competition between Australians and South Africans, and I think it's certainly borne out in the sporting arena. But the reality is nobody really pays attention to who owns what as a customer. And what we've seen with Country Road, we've owned Country Road for a very long time, but we've really looked after that brand and run that brand as if it's an Australian brand. We love it just as much as our Australian customers do. And we'll do the same with David Jones. Woolies is a business that understands brands and understands the importance of ownership and integrity and, looking after a brand over time and taking long-term decisions about its business and its brands. And that's exactly what we'll do with David Jones. On the customer-facing side of this business, the South African element of it will not be known. We don't intend to change the names. The brands, we don't intend to take the Woolworths brand in there. The brands that we take in will be sub-brands, and they'll become sub-brands of David Jones.
Just a rather thorny issue, and if one reads through the annual reports of Woolworths, your chairman, Simon Sussman, is outspoken about concerns that he has with South Africa and the future of this country. And now you see the company taking a massive bet, around a third of your market cap, in Australia. Do we read much into this?
Look, I wouldn't read into it what you might be inferring there, Alex. We're not running away from South Africa. This is South Africa going to Australia. We'll see more people employed here. We'll see more of our brands flowing into Australia. I think this is a great move for South Africa Inc. If I hear what the government, what the Reserve Bank and what the marketplace has been saying about South Africans and its ability to compete and about the need to go and build businesses on an international scale. If you look at successful businesses like Aspen is a good example. They've been very successful by growing both locally and internationally. And our commitment to South Africa remains. We're going to be a very, very big food business in time, and we're going to take more and more market share in clothing over time, and we're going to be a big Africa player over time. Africa is one of the best performing parts of our business at the moment. Now, this deal doesn't stop that.
Just a final comment on the way that the market has reacted. They've pushed your share price down a few rand.
Yeah, we had a negative reaction first day, but it's been fine. It jumped back a couple of percent the following day. Yesterday, I think we were one of the only retail stocks that stayed in the positive. And as we've seen over time, as people understand what we're doing, why we're doing it, how it will actually work through, all of the analyst reports that are coming out are actually far more positive and supportive of the deal, and we're seeing more and more recommending a buy of our stock. So I think it was just the first reaction was one of, wow, this is a big deal. What's happening? How's it going to work? How accretive and how big a return are these going to guys get, etc. So I think once they saw the whites of our eyes and understood our proposition, we've actually had a very positive response from the market.
The share price is down from 74 Rand to 67.60 today. That was Ian Moir, Chief Executive of Woolworths.